So, hello everyone. I am WriterMaven. All my regulars know me. I discuss all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Carlitos, JD, Finn the Demented Demon, and even Rhea and Damien. I've been trying to peel back on Rhea, but like I said, I get forced back into talking about her as SmackDown proved. But have fun at SmackDown. I was not expecting Liv and Raquel to show up. I was disappointed Dom wasn't there, but I get it. But it was a lot of fun. I recorded stuff. If you want to see what I've recorded, I've posted some pieces to YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to try and post the Liv match in its entirety. Well, at least 95% of it on YouTube later, so you can see my perspective of that match because I had some really good seats and I was able to see some nice stuff. I was able to get a good, nice view of the three amigos and Liv Shimmy, so I was really happy. So let us get into some things, shall we? I'm going to start off with Saturday night main event because that's what I said I was going to do. Um, that Saturday night main event is just a glorified house show at this particular moment. Nothing really happened. It was the same old, same old. I figured no titles would change hands, and I was right. Gunther kept his belt. Braun Breaker kept his belt, and of course Rhea Ripley kept her belt. With the Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax match, even though I am not the biggest fan of Nia, I am really, really annoyed that she lost to one Riptide, and I am really, really annoyed that they snatched her out of a title program with Tiffany where they had a storyline built up for her just to feed her to Rhea. That was unnecessary. You could have just snatched Shayna Baszler or some of these other lowly heels off of Raw if you really just wanted to give Rhea a title defense. And she's not going to defend it to WrestleMania anyway, so what was the point of snatching Nia to fill that gap? I don't like it. That ruined a program that could have been a really nice program for Tiffany and Nia. I know Tiffany was probably going to prevail after all, but that could have been something nice to build up Tiffany because as I go into SmackDown, I'm going to explain why Tiffany needed Nia. And then Pat McAfee said something that really annoyed me tonight regarding Rhea. Let me pull it up because I commented it on the X. Pat said something, and I want to get the exact wording because I commented on it. Where's my profile? Oh, Pat said she, as in Rhea, is supposed to be the champion. And I'm like, excuse me, what? She's supposed to be the champion? I mean, I think that's the problem with Rhea now. She shouldn't supposed to be a champion. Nobody's supposed to be a champion. You could say that, yeah, they're future champions, but supposed to? That's the problem. I don't even think Charlotte Flair got the supposed to be a champion designation. She's been a multi-time champ, and she got annoying in the title scene because they want her to break Ric Flair's record. But I don't think she got a supposed to be champion designation. I really don't like that. I really do not like all of this glazing of Rhea right now because we had Kevin Nash say this past couple of days, "Oh, Rhea is the bestseller," and people are like, "What? She's the bestseller? Really, Rhea? Nobody else?" This framing and this glazing and this gooning is really, really getting on my nerves because a lot of people is like, okay, but what about her colleagues? There's ways you can frame praise to someone without it just being so exclusive. It's kind of like how Brock said, "Thank you for carrying the company." I'm like, okay, is Cody Rhodes chopped liver? He put the WWE on his back. He was injured and he was still out there promoting stuff while he was injured. And when he came back, he's been balls to the wall ever since. I have yet to see that man take a break from doing all things WWE. He's promoting, he's signing, he's engaging with the fans. When I was at SmackDown yesterday, dude was out there engaging the crowd, hyping up Jimmy. I left kind of early, but I could still hear it. but it was like he's still out there after SmackDown ends, hyping the crowd, letting the crowd go to home happy. He busts his ass. And but yet you want to say Rhea, the one that's been out all this time, the one that doesn't do the advertisements, the one that seems like she's just there for a little bit and then she's off. She's carrying the company. Really? I don't like this I really don't like this glazing of Rhea because now she done won, and now I said on the X like, okay, she won. Now we won't see her wrestle again to WrestleMania. Bet if we do see her wrestle again, it might be at Elimination Chamber, maybe. And now from this match, she might have some injured ribs from Nia. I don't think that was an intentional thing from Nia, but if it's serious, we might have to have a whole nother conversation of who might have to take that title again if she is significantly injured. And that's the problem. You can't keep doing that. You put the belt back on Rhea, and if she gets injured, who's going to pick up the slack? Right now, on Raw, it looks like Liv again. I don't wish injury on anyone, but she had posted pictures after SmackDown of her face looking bruised, and I'm like, this is why I keep telling your ass to stop headbutting people. Then you have an orbital bone injury. Why are we headbutting people? Even with the kayfabe of Samoans having hard heads and you shouldn't headbutt them, like, why are you headbutting people? And it was actually very satisfying that Nia went over to Rhea and headbutted her first. But like, why? But for what in Rhea's case, why are we headbutting people? You're just injuring yourself or putting yourself up for injury for no good reason. To me, that's being reckless, especially when you're like crux that they put all the eggs in the basket into. I know Cody be reckless sometimes, but he has a style where it's relatively safe. He just sells his ass off. But he's not doing all these really high impact, ultra dangerous moves. He just sells his ass off and tries to make the other person look good, and he just keeps working his ass off. Maybe that'll catch up to Cody soon. And it has caught up to Cody because he did have that injury. But it's not like Cody is out there purposely doing stuff that gets him injured. But that's just with Rhea, it's just really annoying the glazing and all this talking up because as we see on SmackDown, which I will get into, it just shows that how she's so dependent on other people. But anyway, um, it was a decent match, but again, that was just like a 5 minutes match. That match could have just been on Monday Night Raw. Like, why are you gonna do 5 minutes of Rhea and possibly ending her just for that kind of a match? Another commentator, BC Amplified, which I am a huge fan of, was saying that they really needed somebody to come out there after Rhea to set something up, and they didn't. And I kind of agree with him on that. Nothing was set up. For this Saturday night main event, nothing was set up, but for Rhea specifically, it's just really glaring. Okay, what do we do after Rhea? She beat Nia. Who's your next heel? Who? Like, New Day. Who? Who will challenge Rhea? You can't be saying Io, you can't be saying Becky because those are going to be coming in as faces. They had the Sean Ross Sapp report that they were considering Bianca, but Bianca is already involved with Naomi and Jade, and it would be really shitty to pull Bianca out of that program, which can hurt Jade and Naomi, just to put her into a match with Rhea, and she's probably going to lose that match. There's no build to that match. Now, Sean Ross Sapp said that's not set in stone, and I believe him on that. They probably did have some discussions to have a Rhea and Bianca match, but that's another point of my annoyance with Rhea is because it seems like everything is catered to her, where she gets all these dream matches. But I'm pretty sure Liv has a dream match where she wants to face maybe Charlotte. Maybe she wants to have a dream match with AJ Lee or some of these other women. Why is it always that Rhea gets to have? Oh, she got to have her War Game team of Jade and not Jade. Well, she was, but until Jade got injured, she got to have her War Game team of Io and Bianca. She got to have this match at Elimination Chamber. Everything is for her. Everything. Damn, spread the world. She gets the Undertaker glaze. She gets the Kevin Nash glaze. She gets the Rock's glaze. Okay, compare Rhea's glazing compared to Dom's. When you listen to Dom, when other people praise him, like Seth Rollins, um, The Undertaker, any of these other guys, what do we hear from? What do we hear regarding Dom? We hear he's a hard worker. If nothing just seems, we talk him up, how he's mastering his craft. We don't hear this over the top glazing with Dom. We just hear that he keeps his head down. He's always open. He's always willing to learn, and everybody praises him for that. And that's a different type of praise because that he's earned that praise. Don put his head down, he put his pedal to the metal, and worked his ass off to get that praise. That kind of praise is a whole different type of energy, gives a whole different type of energy than Rhea's type of praise. And I think that's what's my annoyance at this point because Rhea's glazing is just really surface level and really it doesn't go deep. Like she said, she doesn't go deep enough, pun intended. It doesn't go like, okay, Rhea does this, we see her doing this, she's out there, she's in there grinding and stuff like that. Do you hear that from Rhea? When we listen to Liv's praise, all I see from Liv is that she's got a ring at her home. She be out there busting her ass training with Natty in the dungeon. She be helping other people train with Natty in the dungeon. She was helping train so you see like the hard work of Liv. You see the hard work of Dom. If I get into some of my other faves with Naomi, I see her training with other people. I saw her training with luchadors. What was that? Was that Ray Phoenix or Lance Dorado? One of those. When she was doing the excursion to TNA and then she went to AAA to wrestle down there, she was training with some of the luchadors there. You see all these other people busting their ass off, training, doing all this stuff. And then you got Rhea, who just seems like she's been putting in the very bare minimum for things. Like some people can get away with bare minimum. Brody Lee's son, if you've seen the pictures of that, she was helping train. I think she was helping with Beef Fab too. Like she was helping with Beef Fab. She helps all these other people. So Liv gives it back. She helps with Natty training in her dungeon, and then she has her own ring where she be keeping up her craft at her home. Whole different clients like Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Scott Hall, all these other people in all the different eras, even Hulk Hogan, even though, problematic as fuck right now. Can't deny that these people put in work to get to their status. Like Shawn Michaels did a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, but I also know that he put in work to get where he is right now. Kind of same thing with Triple H. I have major problems with Triple H, but I can't deny that he put in the work. So with Rhea, it's just really, really grating to see her kind of. Yeah, she's wrestling. Okay, yeah, you're getting a pop. All right. It's just like how now I saw a picture. Roman can get away with bare minimum, but that's now, and that's after he's dealt with actual dog shit. Like Roman Reigns went through dog shit, dog food being poured on him, and busted his ass day in and day out to get to the OTC character and to get to the point where he doesn't have to be there all the time. That's somebody that put in the work. Even somebody like John Cena, even though he split the base And even though it was LOL Cena wins, you can't deny that John Cena didn't put the work in. You can't deny that Randy Orton didn't put the work in. You can't deny that Seth Rollins didn't put the work in. CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, um, Randy Orton, like all these old school guys. Shawn Michaels, even though there was like, and then now you put all this stuff, and now you're floundering. But I digress. I'm going to talk about Rhea a little bit later on, but I just wanted to talk about that point because I really do not like somebody saying that she's supposed to be a champion. Like everybody's be a champion. I'm still waiting around for Don to get a damn single title, and I think he's supposed to be a champion. Picture of Rhea with her ass and just saying, "Oh, we're gonna get a million views, million new fans from this." So you're just putting her out there like this? Is this just her ass? Are we just gonna have her out there to goon so people can just fawn over her because she's not the typical, woman that they usually put out there? Like all the women in the WWE are beautiful. They just hit different aesthetics. But you want to have people going on Rhea, fine, but you got to get that person. You got to get the fan that left like they did with the Attitude Era. Attitude Era gave us some record-setting views, but did those fans stick around? No. The same thing with Rhea Ripley. As soon as they get tired of her, or something else, or somebody else comes around and gets their attention, she's gonna drop hard. I'm not sure when it's gonna happen. Maybe sooner rather than later, but it's going to happen. Sooner or later, that aesthetic is going to wear off, and people are going to shift to another trend, or like make it make sense. Anyway, we had Braun versus Sheamus. They might be having some controversy with that Sheamus. Like, I guess his shoulder was up. I wasn't really paying attention. It was like, I'm just gonna listen for the results and then kind of go back and look. So maybe Sheamus there might be a controversial ending then, and if it's supposed to be controversial, they'll probably play into it. But if not, they'll just rerun this on Raw and make Braun the definitive winner. I mean, we did see a gnarly spear from Braun to Sheamus. And that was, I mean, that's pretty much it. I knew Braun was going to retain. There's no point in putting the belt on Sheamus right now. I mean, if maybe eventually they can run that back, but somebody said that Braun just needs new challengers, and I agree. You can't keep running Sheamus and Ludwig. This is where Dom needed to figure in. Like, if you're going to just go on and make Braun Breaker a face leaning tweener, then you just need to just go on and get Dom into that title picture and just have Dom win it and just go from there. Let break Braun go on to other things, because right now his reign has been really boring along with Gunther. The only and then we got Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. That was actually a pretty good match. That really livened up things, and I wasn't expecting that kind of ending. I was expecting just Jacob Fatu to win full out, but I'm kind of glad that they protected Braun there. You need to protect your monsters, and Braun gets protected just because Jacob Fatu just went insane and just started mauling everybody. So he got protected with that. But I got to see Jacob at Smackdown, and the heat from his entrance is a thing because when they start setting off those pyro flames and stuff like that, you actually feel the heat from those flames. I actually got warmed up because it's actually kind of cold in here in Texas right now. It's like, oh, nice heat. But yeah, those flames are legit. And then we had the Shawn Michaels overseeing the contract signing of Cody and Kevin Owens. Uh, Standard. I mean, it was a good promo. People took both belts, hoisted them up. Kevin Owens thought he can get sneaky and then tried to attack Shawn Michaels, and then Shawn Michaels gave him the sweet chin music, which everybody wanted to pop for, and they did. So pretty much Shawn got to bust out the sweet chin music on Kevin. Done. And then Gunther versus Jay. Um, again, Jay lost. Gunther won. I knew Gunther needed the win because he's been within Damian Priest's vortex, and he needs to be rebuilt up, and he needed that win. Sorry, Jay. Gunther needed the win more than you. You'll be fine. Because everybody wants to yeet away with you. And I was like, he still has bloodline business, and I don't think they want to tie up him with any kind of belt until this bloodline business is settled. And it has some nice near falls, but I really don't like how they rushed the ending because it seems like they rushed it where Gunther just spammed like two power bombs and then Jay won. I don't like spamming stuff like that. Just a quick wrap up. It's kind of like how Rhea, going back to her, just won against Nia with one riptide. Like, really, you couldn't just do like maybe two or three riptides and then put a bow on it. Like, why did it take one to put away Nia? And then Gunther, he just spammed like two power bombs in quick sessions, and then that was it. Like, there's no build. There was no. It's like an abrupt ending. I hate abrupt endings. Like, you've been going for like 20 something minutes, and then it's just an abrupt, and then that's in, and we cut to black, and then my Peacock is showing like Wild Robot now, or did right after the match. That was Saturday Night Main Event. So let's talk about SmackDown Live, shall we? I went to SmackDown down there at the Moody Center in Austin. I enjoyed it. Um, I was trying to see if there was some merchandise I can buy, like for Dom. I really didn't see it. I didn't really look hard enough because I was cold, but it was, um, same old with merch for these places. I went in, got my seat, got to see Chad Gable for Speed and one of the Motor City Machine Guns. But when things started kicking off, we had the coded promo in the ring and his whoa. So that is legit. His pyro is legit and loud, kind of hits you in the chest. It's kind of funny. I kind of flinched on Cody's pyro, but when it was like the other pyro, like Damien and Motor City Machine Guns and all them other Rhea's pyro or something like that, those sounds, I didn't flinch on that. Maybe I'm just too used to loud noises or something like that. Cody just felt really pandering in that promo. I'm like, kind of get to the point, Cody. Like, I know we're in Austin. You're gonna talk up Matthew McConaughey. You're gonna talk up the Longhorns. Sprinkle, sprinkle, whatever. You're just gonna keep going. I get it. So that was kind of a pandering promo that I really didn't pay attention to. Um, Pretty Deadly versus Motor City Machine Guns. I actually liked that match because we got a nice disco ball that comes down to spin for their entrance, and Pretty Deadly is really entertaining in person. I strongly encourage y'all to watch them whenever they come through, because they are really entertaining. Um, I do wish that they can get built up more, and maybe with this little storyline they have with DIY, they can get built up more to be more of a serious contender. Because I really did enjoy Pretty Deadly in NXT. They're highly entertaining, and I think we need more of that with them. The BFAB and Michin versus Chelsea and Piper match. BFAB has is rapidly becoming one of my favorites. And I always like Mi Chin, and I like Chelsea and Piper. This one was a quick match. I'm not sure why they rushed it. Like I felt like that could went on a little bit more, especially when Mi Chin just kind of simplistically kind of won with her like eat defeat finisher. But I'm really happy that B5 is coming along. You can see the results of her training with Natty, and I'm really happy she's coming along because I think she didn't really. I think people were really hard on her when she was fighting Electra and NXT 2.0. If anybody remembered that, and I think she got the wrong. She got a raw deal when people were just like shitting on her, but she's really been improving by leaps and bounds. So I'm really happy for her. And now we go into the women's tag, which it just felt like it was just there to get women to declare because Triple H all of a sudden decided like I haven't put any thought into the women's Royal Rumble. So we get all these women to declare. First of all, we get Tiffany. And she just comes out for maybe 1 minute, and then here comes Rhea Ripley. But I noticed live with Rhea's pops, she might have got better pops in San Antonio, but for Austin, I think Austin is starting to trend snarky or smarky because yeah, she got she gets a chance, and yeah, she got a pop, but what her pop compared to Bianca's pop is different. I can't really put my finger on it. It's just different. Like, yeah, you get the pop, and I always say that her pops are just you're just conditioned to pop for Rhea. But when it's Bianca, when her music hits, it feels like like the audience is really excited to see Bianca. It feels like the audience is more involved with cheering for Bianca. Does that make sense to y'all? Like the pop is different. I can't put my finger on it. I'm not sure what it is. It's a difference. Yeah, Rhea's getting the pop, but it's different than a Bianca pop. But to go back to Rhea and Tiffany, it's trying to seem like they're trying to make this pairing of Tiffany and Rhea. They're trying to force that, and I don't think it's gonna work because yeah, they're trying to they can kind of mimic Barbie Hammer, but for me, I don't think it doesn't seem like it worked. They're on two different brands, and that's something that should have been built up with like when Rhea didn't have the title, like when Tiffany was Miss Money in the Bank and Rhea didn't have the title. They should have been getting together or something like that, getting the friendship and stuff built up. Maybe Rhea's giving her advice about diet and stuff like that. That should have been up then. Now it doesn't feel genuine. So out of that whole thing, Tiffany only had like maybe a minute, maybe even 30 seconds of a promo. And then here comes Rhea. And then now y'all see how they're still trying to attach Rhea to anybody. Because look who's all shows up. It was Bianca and Naomi. And then it was Nia and Candice. And then it was Liv. And Liv got Nia gets legit blues. And then when Liv hit, she got a mixture. People want to say that she's getting cheered. She has a mixture. She gets a cheer mixture. Like, yeah, she's gonna get cheered, but she's gonna get booed. And then like with Liv, she got booed during the Three Amigos attempt, so people still recognize that as Dom. So she got booed. So she gets the mixture. But notice how again Rhea still needs all these people around her. Like she can't survive on her own. Like, why are you coming out to interrupt Tiffany? Why? I don't even, the whole setup was annoying. Like, why are you trying to steal Tiffany's, bling and thunder? And yeah, it was kind of, it's, it, like, I don't get this thing with Rhea a lot because it's just like, this particular moment, she should be able to stand on her own. and Liv came out. Oh, Nia, before I get to Liv, Nia had the amazing, she was pretty good on the mic and just tore up that poor child for no reason, but that's heel work for you. And then Liv comes out, and I think she both Liv and Tiffany because that Rhea and Tiffany because she got the she had the promo of a girl who lost her man to a real woman. Now that kicked off a whole firestorm on the X where people were just like, well, why would you say that? You know, Rhea's a real woman, and people were firing back on that, saying like, okay, so Rhea could call Dom a slut. Rhea could call that Dom was little, didn't go deep enough. He's a baby, he's a bottom. But when Liv says that Rhea isn't a real, lost her man to a real woman, now y'all want to cry foul. So that was going on today. Like people like were really like clutching pearls on that, and I'm like, okay, so if you got a problem with Liz promo, then you need to have a problem with what has been saying for Dom. And I think actually what's said about Dom is a little bit harsher because that shouldn't be going on right now. That's attitude era stuff, and some things need to stay in the attitude era. You don't want Slut to come back for back in the vernacular. Believe me. Yeah, people always say they want the edgy content, but you don't want that. You don't want certain terms to be slung around like that. Just trust me on that. We had that term tossed around in the Attitude Era, ruthless aggression. If anybody remembers what was going on with poor Lita, yeah, she went through some stuff, backstage stuff with Edge and Matt Hardy and stuff like that, but they were brutal to Lita. You don't want that kind of stuff to come back because again, you don't know what's going on in people's personal lives, and just for the crowd to be that harsh on Lita when it seems like now that it's come out now that it's not what people thought it was at that time. You got to be careful with that. Liv declared for the World Rumble, and same thing with Rick Raquel. And then, of course, when Liv gets into the ring, Rhea headbutts her. Now, again, why are we headbutting people? And again, why did Liv get? Why is it that Rhea goes after Liv here? Promo against Rhea, but Nia was cutting a promo against Rhea, so it's not like Liv was the only one that was getting a shot in. Yeah, so the whole brawl kickoff was weird because it's just Rhea's going back after Liv again. But we did have the 6 women tag. Liv got the roll up pin on Bianca. Some people thinking that that could be like a setup for a tag match in the future. I'll have to get into what's next for like Judgment Day coming in a little bit, but it could go that way. It can go. Liv can go actually a couple of different ways, and I'm gonna explain what I think what could happen in a little bit. But I was so happy to see Liv win. I always say that I love Liv's skirt gears. So I was really happy that she had the little like Dom inspired paisley, black and white paisley, and she had the Dom shirt on. So again, that shows that she and Dom are good. Their little spat, their little tension was just for show. And of course they seem like they and if it was some tension there, they obviously made it up on Monday when Liv dragged Dom off somewhere. So they're good. Um let's see. Oh, and I also had like the little point of how Dom couldn't going back to the Liv's promo, like Dom couldn't barely say anything about negative about Rhea, but Liv's promo is suddenly a problem. So that's that thing of why Dom should have been allowed to say more than he should, because now it seems like Liv has to take up that slack to speak for Dom because Dom isn't allowed to say that stuff. But anyway, let's see. Oh, we also got what was that? Uh we had Johnny versus Apollo Cruz. Apollo won with the roll up because they were distracted by Motor City Machine Guns. I was really surprised at that, but I'm kind of happy for Apollo because I do like Apollo. He seems like he always gets bounced around where they don't know what to do with him, and just giving him this little bit of story seems like it helps. And then also they had like Legato mean mugging pretty deadly earlier, and I'm not sure if that's Legato and Los Gatos going face because it looks like they are because next week they're going to have Motor City Machine Guns and Los Garza, which is Legato's tag team, against DIY and Pretty Deadly. Looks like so. It looks like um, we'll have that happening. So it looks like Legato has been shifted to face. And then due to Liz win, we have going against Naomi next week as well. I'm going to be beside myself because I love Liv, but my ride or die is Naomi, and I don't know how I want that match to turn out because those are my two favorites. But I'm happy to see them wrestling again. We didn't they wrestled before Rhea's joining the Judgment Day, so and that was a pretty good match then. So now it should probably be a better match, especially if they get some time. But yeah, Apollo got the roll up pin on Johnny, and then they're gonna have Motor City Machine Guns and DIY are gonna defend their titles at Royal Rumble in the 2 out of 3 falls match. I don't get the obsession with the 2 out of 3 falls match. Why couldn't it just be like a street fight or something like that? Do something interesting. Make a steel cage, something. So they got that one, and then I'm missing. There was another. Oh, Damian Priest. Now I gotta talk about Damian Priest for one thing. And this is going to be a nice little thing about Carmelo as well. Damien has been moved to Smackdown transfer portal. The joy I felt with Damien moving over to SmackDown. People are talking about how Damien is escaping the Judgment Day vortex. I said that Judgment Day is escaping Damien's vortex because now with Carmelo, people are starting to see the problem with Damien's no selling. Now, Carmelo. Now Carmelo's been running his mouth and he got ran his mouth into a match with Damian Priest. Being there live, Damien does get pops, but it falls off. Like he gets again, it's kind of like Rhea. You get the initial pop, and then it falls off throughout the show. But the whole thing with Carmelo, I felt really, really bad for him. You have Braun Breaker and Tiffany like put into positions to succeed, and then here comes Carmelo just losing. Now people are going to say, "Well, he's being used every week." Yeah, being used every week doesn't amount for anything. We got Dom over there being used every week, and he keeps losing. Like, just because you're being used doesn't mean you're being used well or to the best of your ability. So really, I really don't like how Carmelo is being used. I saw him when he came to Austin as a part of the Great American Bash, and he had a banger of a match with Ilya Dragunov, and that's where I was kind of wanting Ilya to win the NXT title at that point. I think he won it at the next pay per view, but he and Ilya just had this really great match. The man can wrestle, and I think he has some personality, but um, like I don't like how he gets getting fed to people. Yeah, has a good showing, but still, he's losing. Taking that belt off of LJ Knight and kind of screwed up Andrade, and it screwed up Carmelo. Because as much as I love Shinsuke, I'm not sure he doesn't even need the title. Like, isn't Andrade going after Shinsuke now? Like, what is Shinsuke doing with the belt? I mean, that could have been, Andrade and Carmelo could have been fighting over the United States title to give them something to do. But anyway, Damian really, really in person does not sell. It's not just the TV. I'm not sure why he's doing the Undertaker rope trick, like top rope trick, where he's just walking along and then walks like the Undertaker and comes down on somebody. I'm not sure why he's doing that. Like, I guess you are just gonna live up to the bisexual Undertaker name. But there was a point, I think, where it was during the commercial break. I can't really tell. I didn't really go back to watch like the broadcast version of SmackDown to see how much got on the air with this, because there was a point where Carmelo, was actually able to attack Damian and stuff like that. But I think that was during the commercial break, because after that, it was just like Damian like hulking to win. And, when South of Heaven, it's done. And and then I saw on the X where people were kind of complaining about that, like, why was Carmelo treated like that? I said, okay, now you see what Finn and Dom had to deal with Damian's no selling ass. Like, now you see it. It wasn't just the complaint of Dom, and it wasn't just the complaint of Finn fans, even though he's being demented right now. It's fair that Finn and Dom and Judgment Day proper, JD and Carlito had to go through with Damian no selling shit. You know, I still, like, to this day, I still don't get the no selling. There's no point to not selling for. I don't get the point of why he doesn't no sell. Like, sell for people. But now he's over there on SmackDown, and then he makes his presence known to Cody and all that. But now y'all see, now that he's out of Raw and away from Judgment Day, I'm pretty much going to see if he's going to keep no selling, and then people are going to still keep are going to notice this no sell and how it's going to become a problem. Like, I want him to try and no sell for Cody Rhodes. Like, I want you to try and no sell for some of these other people that people actually like. And then we had Kevin and Jimmy. Kevin had the hilarious T-shirt of Naomi wearing it. Like, sir, I got some pretty good pictures of him in that T-shirt of Naomi's. Prior to that, I think prior to that, it was Carmelo talking to Jimmy, and they kind of scrapped down a walkway. So I'm wondering if they're gonna have that kind of feud between Jimmy and Carmelo right there. Because it seems like Carmelo likes to beef with both Usos, so you had that, and then Jimmy lost that one. But it was just it's just Kevin's just such a troll, where he was just wearing a shirt, but it was a good match. Jimmy can ball, and I think Jimmy is better than Jay. If we had Jimmy and Jay's place for the Gunther match for tonight, I think that probably would have been a better match. But that's just me. Ooh, and also we also found out that A Town Down Under, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller is moving to Raw, which means Dom has his buddies back. And I have some theories about that too. But all in all, SmackDown is a blast. I highly recommend that y'all go see a live show. Either it's a live show, holiday tour, PLE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, WrestleMania, anybody. If y'all could get to a show and it's within your budget, you might have to wait a little bit longer on this. Like prior to the show, they came down on some prices for some really good tickets and were some really good seats where I'm at. So you might have to play fast and loose with the ticket, where you might have to kind of wait until the very last minute just to see if you can get a ticket, a reasonable ticket now. But I highly recommend y'all go. This was my first SmackDown, which means by my tally, I have been to two Raws. Actually, I've been to more Raws because I've been going. I went through just for this current era. I've been to two Raws, a SmackDown, NXT PLE, which is the Great American Bash. So next on my scorecard, I need to go to a PLE, which is like Money in the Bank, Survivor Series, something like that. WrestleMania. I need to get to one of those shows, and then I need to go to NXT taping or something like that. If they're since NXT is traveling now, I'm hoping they come to the little arena that's where I'm at, where I'm close to where I live, so I could go to like NXT taping or something like that whenever they come back through. Because I think they will come back through pretty soon. But yes, I do highly recommend going to a wrestling show, even AEW. If you can make it, you can get the ticket, go to it. You'll have a blast. Typically, you'll have a blast unless you just have a really ass show. And sometimes the audience around you can impact your enjoyment. I had some really drunk fans behind me that wanted to just shout "I love you" solo all the time. But I also had some fans that were that leaned skewed more heelish, which they were cheering Liv, and then they were saying, "You leave Dom's Garita alone," talking about Liv, and so it was funny being with that particular crowd. So anyway, so let's get into the preview of Raw. So with A Town Down Under moving over to Raw, that gives Dom some potential allies. So Dom can have an alliance with American Made, and he can have an alliance with A Town Down Under. So what I'm thinking for Raw, and what I'm thinking what's going to be happening pretty soon, is that Finn is not going to be there tomorrow, or not tomorrow, on Monday. So you're going to have, and depending on how they put that tag team match, I'm really thinking they're going to be main event. If the tag team match is main event, we know some shenanigans is going down. So what I'm thinking is that Dom and JD win the tag. Now, like I said, I don't really want Dom to be tagged, so I'm really hoping they just do a free bird rule and have Dom pass it on to Carlito later. But I think we're gonna have Dom and JD win, and I think they can get away with it with having A Town Down Under kind of interfere on Dom's behalf, start some shit with War Raiders because, like I said previously, War Raiders ain't doing shit with the titles. If they were involved with the tag team scene and not with Damien's ass this past month, then okay, I could see maybe them not losing the titles right now. But they're doing what Judgment Day did, and I think that the tag titles would better be served with the story right now with Dom. So, and the way the story is going for Dom being built up as leader, which is building up his credibility. So, I'm thinking Dom and JD win. You can start. You can have A Town Down Under pull War Raiders to a feud with them, and with Damien being transferred to SmackDown, we don't have to worry about Damien running out there to save the War Raiders. So this lines up perfectly. They don't have to worry about Dom and JD. Don't have to worry about Damian Priest showing his ass up. There's always the specter of Rhea, but we're just going to hope that she just stays in the women's division right now. So what I'm thinking is JD and Dom win. Friday, we have Liv win against Naomi. Royal Rumble. I'm right now. I'm still. It's a 50-50 chance that Liv wins this time. and I'm going to see how Rhea looks with this injury because they might have to do some pivoting because right now I think there's a 50-50 shot of Liv winning. People are saying Charlotte can win, but I really don't want a repeat winner for the Royal Rumble for the women, at least right now. It's still young. We've only had about what 6, 7 women's Royal Rumbles compared to the men, which have 30 plus years. So I don't want repeat winners. Charlotte's already won a Royal Rumble, so she really doesn't need it to challenge for somebody. She could win elimination chamber or something like that. If she absolutely had to get somebody or had to win something, I think she could win elimination chamber. And I think they will want her to be. I think they want to be have her heel coming back. So what I'm hoping for is probably Liv winning now, or at least a good showing. I'm hoping she wins. So we have to go back to the timeline. We have JD and Dom win the tag titles. Friday, she wins against Naomi, as much as that pains me to say it. Saturday, possibly a Royal Rumble win. So Monday Night Raw, when it comes back around, we will have a different looking Judgment Day. And this is where I would have Finn show back up. When you have Finn come back in, you have Judgment Day clicking on all cylinders. They got the tag titles back. We have Liv set up either as a Royal Rumble winner or they're set up as number one contenders to the tag titles per Raquel. And then you have Dom with all these alliances. You might have a American Made in there. Chad Gable's thanking Dom um, for the information to help him out with the Penta. And then you have A Town Down Under in there and go like that. If Dom wheeling and dealing with maybe to have them with War Raiders because they're buddy. So you have Dom having friends there. And so you have Finn come back to a well oiled Judgment Day. Clicking. Everything's looking bright. And then you have a time of do we see Finn sabotage it or do we see Finn get the boot? Um, that's where I would go. I still do want sooner rather than later booting for Finn because you have to push the story along. Like I think at Royal Rumble, if they wanted to play it, they can have Dom accidentally on purpose eliminate Finn from the Royal Rumble. That's months down the line. Let's see if Finn returns right there. So we could go that way. And then if it did return like this coming Monday, if they're gonna just have them Dom lose or something like that, then they just need to. If Dom loses this, I think they just need to go on and pull the trigger and have Finn be kicked. He can't undermine something like Dom setting up something here and then he loses again, and then we got to go through Finn like Finn you wins type stuff for another couple of weeks. They just need to go on with the major storyline progression. So Dom wins it, and I think, and I hope they just freebird it. Just freebird the title over there to Carlito, and then Dom can go up there another title like the Intercontinental with Braun or something like that. And I really think Dom needs to get that IC. That way he can get set up for Money in the Bank because I think he needs to win Money in the Bank. Oh, and another piece of what my thoughts is view counts. Also, I'm sure pretty much y'all have seen my little video on view counts, how they didn't have Liv and Dom's segment up on social for 2 days after, and this is usually after when they make a big deal about viewpoints, and they're saying how it seems like I saw that said it was sabotage. The WWE shot themselves with that because it seems like now everything that is posted is by Rhea trying to get those view claims out, and they're not moving. The only one that got really high view counts was Rhea's high fiving that fan, but they had to put out 3, 4 pieces of social media just to get to that. Meanwhile, for Liv stuff, like from Smackdown, she started getting high views almost immediately. So it's not just Dom being included that gets the high views. Liv can pull high views on her own, and I think she's beaten Rhea on some of these things as well from the SmackDown stuff. But they really shot themselves in the foot because it seems like they want to push Rhea as generating all these views, which I'm not getting because if you put out anything Roman Reigns, it's going to get high views. I'm not sure why there's a competition here when it comes to view counts. Like Roman Reigns coming back up and you got Rhea there. I'm sure Roman Reigns is going to blast Rhea out the water. And then now y'all the way they treated the whole Monday Night Raw situation with the Liv and Dom segment is now that you're gonna have viewers and fans be really hyper vigilant to to what the WWE posts now. If now people are going to be looking at what's being posted to social media by the official WWE account and be like, why wasn't this segment posted? They shot themselves in the foot. Now you're gonna see people be like, okay, you got 2 or 3 things of Rhea, so where is this Liv and Dom stuff that was just put up? And with the Liv and Dom segment, they didn't even put Liv and Dom on the thumbnail. They used Carlito. Carlito wasn't even a part of the whole. I mean, he wasn't the focus of the segment. So why would you sabotage? Like I said, it's sabotage. Why would you sabotage it not to put Liv and Dom on the thumbnail? You didn't label it Liv and Dom anything, and then you just used Carlito. I had some people say that maybe they didn't want to put out there that Malachi Black was returning, and that's why they cut out Chad Gable's part. But they had already edited the segment when they finally posted it 2 days later. So they could have just went ahead and put the edited segment up that night. It's like how they shot themselves in the foot on view count because by the time they posted it, everybody had seen it in other means, like on other channels. Like other people, if they wanted to see the segment, either had to go back on Netflix to watch it, which is what I did, or they had to go to a YouTube channel that put it up and hope it's not copyright strike, or you had to go somewhere else to find the clip. So they just made it hard for people to find it, and they still got high views. So they need to. So WWE needs to be careful when they're on this narrative they're trying to push. Like I said, fans aren't dumb. We can see it. We can see what they're trying to do. You're putting Rhea up here, and okay, that's your star, but you have other people that have the star status, and we're not. I how do I even put this? Like, we get it. Rhea's your star, but at some point it, she needs to start pulling her own weight on some of this stuff. You can't just sabotage other people just to get her there. And that's what happened with these other stuff. That's happened with Cena. Cena sabotaged other faces, other heels trying to come up behind him, and he created the logjam. We don't want another Cena situation like that. Roman Reigns was a little bit different, but still, it's a self sabotage because there's some wrestlers that could get over that you're stymieing just so you can put somebody else over. But I digress.